अभी जो प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट है उसका पोटेंशियल आपको प्रीवियस गवर्नमेंट से बेटर लगता है कि वो कुछ कर पाएंगे इसमें, कि उनके भी हाथ की बात नहीं है?
2014 के मैनिफेस्टो में उन्होंने कहा था that they will deport and expel every illegal migrant, and they also made the statement that persecuted Indic communities from across the world will find shelter in this country. This is not the first year of this government, this is the 6th year of this government. Okay? पिछले 5 साल में आपका analysis क्या है? What do you think? Do you think they've done enough? Okay, then you've answered the question. I didn't have to answer the question at all. Okay, let's put this, let's just do a poll here. How many people believe that the government has done enough on the aspect of illegal migration?
Not done enough, but they have moved from 0 to 1 at least.
And what would that be, sir? Just explain what is 0 to 1 in this case.
Previous government has not done it.
Okay, so what have they done? Saying is not doing, so what have they done?
They have started in that direction.
In which year? 2019. What did they do in 2014? When did the Citizenship Amendment Bill come about? 2016. What were they doing from 14 to 16? Thinking. No. Okay, so here's where I don't disagree with you, but allow me to disagree with you on something else. The tragedy of Indian politics is the tragedy of poor expectations and low expectations. Because the one before, no, I'm not blaming you, sir. All I'm saying is the issue is so critical that somebody comes from negative to 0, it becomes positive. Okay? I certainly believe that this government is saying all the right things. I do not hold brief for the government, nor am I anti-government. I am simply saying, if you believe that you have done enough in the time that you already have had, then perhaps there is a serious problem in our definitions as to what qualifies as doing. I would only request you to follow the progress in the NRC case with respect to Assam and see what is the government's position and how long it has taken for them to address this particular issue. I'll give you only one example. So there are 3 judgments of the Supreme Court. One in 2005, one in 2006, and one in 2012. 17th of December 2014. Okay. 2005 judgment was called Sarvananda Sonowal versus Union of India. 2006 judgment was also called Sarvananda Sonowal versus Union of India. 2014 judgment came in a writ petition of 2012 called Assam Sanmilita Mahasangha versus Union of India. Just take a look at the judgment. It's publicly available. In the first judgment in 2005, the court struck down the IMDT Act of 1983, which was a legislation that was introduced with respect to Assam after the Assam students' agitation between 1979 and 1985, when the Assam Accord was entered into 1985. What was the fundamental grievance of the students of Assam? Our indigenous identity is being eviscerated. Why is it that you're applying a different cutoff date for illegal migrants for Assam when it is different for the rest of the country? Why are you not doing enough for deportation? And most importantly, the act which was introduced, the Illegal Migration Detection Tribunals Act of 1983, I think that's what the expansion stands for. You know what it did? Under the Foreigners Act, the person who is accused of being an illegal migrant has to prove that he is not an illegal migrant. In the IMDT Act of 1983, which was introduced to facilitate and speeden up the process of deportation and expulsion, the burden of proof was reversed. The person who accuses has to prove that the other person is an illegal migrant, otherwise he is a citizen. The legislation that was meant to speeden the process of deportation reversed the rules of burden. It took the Supreme Court to strike it down in 2005 after representations from 1979 to 1985 to 90 to 91, 93, 97. Every year the Assam Students' Union would meet the government and say, please repeal. Yes, we'll repeal. Please repeal. Yes, we'll repeal. No repeal, you go to court. Finally, they had to go to court. In 2005, that was struck down. Because the court said, the numbers are given there. What are the numbers here when it comes to explosion of the population here? What are they eating? There must be some children that they are eating that they're exploding like this, okay? In terms of population, I don't know what is that. Or something else is happening. The government recognizes the push factor and the pull factor, rather the Supreme Court recognizes this, which is to say, there are certain push factors from the other side and there are some pull factors here. One of the pull factors is cultivation of vote banks inside this country. The Supreme Court recognizes this. And then the Supreme Court recognizes 3 lakh cases initiated. How many people deported? Is that a 3-figure number? Yes, 3-figure number. In 200s and 300s, and sometimes in 20s. It dwindles down to 20s in 2005. So the Supreme Court says, please strike it down. You already have a Foreigners Act. Why do you need a separate legislation for the state of Assam? Focus on using the Foreigners Act and initiating NRC, because the last NRC was conducted in 1951. Initiate a fresh NRC and start setting up foreigners tribunals and deport these people. I can't use the word kick them out, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Deport them, okay? Then in 2006, there is a second judgment that comes out. Why? Because what they were asked not to do under the different legislation, they started doing it under a rule under the Foreigners Act. You can't do it directly. Oh, okay, that means I should do it indirectly. I'll do it. That is how we interpreted it. Again, the Supreme Court had to step in and say, I just told you not to do this. That doesn't mean that you can do it under a different legislation. So this happened. Then the Supreme Court says, did you man the fence? Did you ensure that the entire border is fenced? What kind of electronic measures have you put in that particular place? That status report is filed slowly. And by that time, again, these people have lost their patience. They approached the Supreme Court in 2012. In 2012, they're basically saying, look, under Section 6A, which was introduced in the Citizenship Act as special provisions relating to Assam, you seem to be giving special treatment to people between 1966 to 1971. I don't understand why are you giving them that special treatment. First you said it's 1966, which is the cutoff. Then you have gradually pushed it to the 24th of March 1971. They challenged that particular provision, and that provision and that challenge to the provision continues to be before the Supreme Court from 2012. We are in 2019. Why? Because the Supreme Court had basically said this requires a larger bench, a 5-judge bench. The 5-judge bench is yet to be constituted over the last 7 years. Okay, and the judgment in that particular case, the interim judgment, was passed on the 17th of December 2014. I suspect this government came to power in the 16th of May 2014. Correct? Okay. The government's position there was, there's nothing wrong with that particular provision, it's perfectly legal and constitutional. You tell me I'm wrong. I will name the lawyers who appeared, who represented the government. Not that they did anything wrong, they're only representing the government, they're only messengers, they can't do anything wrong. But the point is, the government's position is on record. This is a judgment of Justice Rohington Fali Nariman and Justice Ranjan Gogoi when he was not the Chief Justice. There is a website called indianqanun.org. Any law student will tell you that. It's publicly available. Just search for Assam Sanmilit Mahasangh, that word, on Google, and this will be among the top hits you'll get for this particular judgment. Read the last few paragraphs, where the court has given detailed instructions to the government, asking them to do the following things with respect to the border, and keep filing status reports in terms of their progress. This was 2014. Now I would request you to try and find out, and all of this is publicly available, the affidavits that the government has filed from 17th of December 2014 with respect to the progress after the directions were given. Okay? Once you read that, then you should ask yourself, ये minus से zero हुआ है या minus to minus हुआ है और अभी तक zero नहीं पहुंचा है? Positive की बात तो छोड़ ही दीजिए. I am merely saying, whatever political drama is played or whatever it is, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm simply saying that the issue is beyond politics. It requires serious political will and commitment and realization that even if this government believes that it has a future and it will be re-elected in the future, it cannot hope to be re-elected if there is a demographic alteration, period. Okay? As simple as that. There is, in fact, I am saying I'm dangling a carrot. You have a political incentive to act, so please act. You don't care about dharma, you don't care about civilization, you don't care about identity. I'm sure you care about that blessed 4-letter word. What is that? It starts with F, no, V, vote. Okay. So that 4-letter word, vote, matters to you, right? And since it matters to you, protect your vote bank at least. I'm giving you a naked political incentive, do it. Because if that is the only way to push you in that particular direction, I'm happy to push you in that particular direction, because our lives, our futures, our careers, our land, our civilization is at stake. Our way of life is under serious threat.